Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss some advanced questions with answer from the story, Gulliver's Travels, written by Jonathan Swift, from the English Marigold book of class 5. The list of questions is as follows. Question 1. Who wrote the story, Gulliver's Travels? Answer, Jonathan Swift wrote the story, Gulliver's Travels. Question 2. What is an autobiography? Answer, when a person tells the story of his own life in his own words, then it is called an autobiography. Question 3. Where was Gulliver caught? Answer, Gulliver was a sailor and he was caught in an unknown land of giants. Question 4. Why did Gulliver go to the unknown land? Answer, on the 16th of June, 1730 the captain of Gulliver's ship discovered a land and they needed water then. So the captain sent 12 men with vessels for water from there. Gulliver was one of them. That is why Gulliver went to unknown land. Question 5. Why did all the other men rush back to the ship? Answer, Gulliver, with some other men, went to the unknown land in search of water. Suddenly Gulliver saw all the other men rushing back to the boat. He observed a huge creature was chasing after them in the sea as fast as he could. The creature was as huge as the water of the ocean reached only till his knees. In the fear of this huge giant all the other men rushed back to the ship. Question 6. What did Gulliver observe on that unknown land? Answer, Gulliver went to the unknown land in search of water but he found no river or spring there. He could not also see any inhabitant there. The land was barren and rocky. Suddenly he observed all the other men were rushing back to the ship as a huge giant was chasing them in the sea. Question 7. Why did Gulliver scream loud? Answer, Gulliver went to the unknown land in search of water with others. But the others rushed back to the ship in fear of huge giants lived in that land. Gulliver was unable to reach the boat and made himself hidden in the field. The giants were there in the field for reaping the corn. One of them approached towards Gulliver and so in fear he screamed as loud as he could. Question 8. What did the giant do when Gulliver screamed loud? Answer, one of the huge giants, who was reaping the corn in the field of that unknown land, approached towards Gulliver while reaping. Then Gulliver screamed very loud in fear. Hearing his screaming the creature stopped reaping and picked him up between his thumb and forefinger and brought him close to his eyes which were around 60 feet high above the ground. Then he looked at Gulliver with curiosity and blew his hair aside to get a better view of his face. Then he called his friends and placed him on the ground gently. Question 9. What did Gulliver do when the giants sat around him? Answer, one of the big giants placed Gulliver gently on the ground and sat on the ground along with the other giants to take a good look at Gulliver. Then Gulliver walked slowly backward and forward and pulled off his hat and also bowed towards the huge giants. Then he tried to speak to them loudly in several languages but all of his tries went in vain. Question 10. What was happened with Gulliver in the house of the giant farmer? Answer, one of the giant farmers took Gulliver to his house from the ground and placed him at some distance on a huge dining table. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and gave it to Gulliver during their dinner. Gulliver heard a purring of a very huge cat which was stroked by the farmer's wife. Suddenly the farmer's 1-year-old son entered the room in the arms of a lady and by seeing Gulliver, the child grabbed him and put his head into its mouth. Gulliver shouted loudly and so the baby dropped him. The farmer's wife held her apron under Gulliver and saved him from breaking his neck. Then she put Gulliver on her own bed and covered him with a clean white handkerchief. Gulliver then slept dreaming of his home, his wife and his children. That was happened with Gulliver in the house of the giant farmer. If you are interested in such kind of advanced and analytical questions with answer from other topics also, you please follow this channel and subscribe it to get a lot more. Thanks for watching.